Hello, welcome back to the game store. How can I help you? Okay, so looking for some spooky games that are good to play around Halloween. Yeah, I think I can definitely help. Any specific type of game? Okay, and then what about consoles? Okay, so you're a collector, you have multiple consoles, okay. Yeah, that sounds good. So what I think I'll do is just grab a variety of games, see what you're interested in, and we can go from there. You can also feel free to browse the store if you'd like. We do have some sales going on, so let me know if you have any questions. And then are you interested in anything else? Okay. Yeah, we do have our retro stuff over on that side, and then the newer stuff is right over there. So again, if you have questions or just want to browse, let me know. But why don't I go grab some games, and I'll be right back. Okay, so like I said, I decided to just grab a variety. It's across a few different consoles, so if you end up not having one of these, just let me know. And of course, like I mentioned, we do have a sale going on. And then if you were to purchase multiple things, I can give you a deal, okay? Some of these things might need to be cleaned. A few of them were just donated to the store, so they have not even been looked at yet. So let's start looking through. I'm going to start with 2 Dreamcast games. And do you have a Dreamcast? Perfect. Okay, so this is a Resident Evil Code Veronica. Now the case is a little bit beat up. Some sticker residue here, which I could get off for you. And it looks like the case is coming apart right here. Might be able to snap it back. Okay, yeah, that looks better. So let's see. Let's look at the front here. This is definitely a classic Dreamcast game. And did you ever play it? Okay. Yeah, well, remember this one does have zombies in it. So, it's kind of perfect for this time of the year. And what else can I say? Your main character will be Claire Redfield right there. And her brother is missing in this game, so you have to find him. So let's take a look inside. Okay, so it looks like we have, there's 2 discs, so let me make sure. Disc 1 and disc 2, and actually this is falling out, so I will have to get you another case. Just set it in there for now. Let's just check the discs. Perfect. Check the other one. Perfect. And even though they do look wonderful, I still will run them through our disc cleaner for you. Then of course we have a little manual which will give you some insight into the game before you play. And just remind you what the different controls are in the Dreamcast, how to start it up, saving, loading, and then just some other tips. set these aside. You don't have to tell me if you're interested now. And this one looks pretty clean. Besides, of course, the sticker, which I will take off. Now the next one we have is House of the Dead 2. Again for Sega Dreamcast. The back says, prepare to send the undead back to the afterlife. And yeah, this is a very popular arcade game, which I remember seeing a lot growing up. It's definitely an intense game. And again, kind of like a classic. Okay, so we have the disc. Let's just give it a check. Perfect. Kind of like a scary picture behind it. And then we also have the manual. And kind of similar thing. It's going to give you character introductions. And then controls. Go through all the items you can use. Things like that. So House of the Dead 2 and Resident Evil Code Veronica. In this case, looks pretty good. Now, we also have, let's see. Now this is for PlayStation 1, and this is Resident Evil 2. I think I have a few Resident Evil games here, so if you're not interested in all of them, don't worry about it. But this is 2 discs in 1. The back says, can you survive the horror? So again, this is definitely a great game to play this time of the year. Of course, this one takes place in Raccoon City with Leon and Claire as your main characters. So I'm going to open this up. These double cases are kind of tricky sometimes. Let's see the manual. So yeah, starting a mission, how to set up the PlayStation, which is always a good reminder. And then again, just kind of like an intro. Both discs are here. So everything looks good. I'm going to carefully close it. So, PlayStation 1, do you have one? Perfect. Then I have another PlayStation game. This one is for PS2. And this is Silent Hill 2. I do remember it being pretty scary. So, return to Silent Hill in a new adventure with new characters and monsters. Horrifying creatures with a new arsenal of weapons and items, riveting storyline, atmospheric lighting, real-time weather effects, deliver a cinematic horror experience. So this case is a little dusty, so I'm going to just clean it. And now, have you played this one before? Yeah, I do like to replay And even the front cover is pretty creepy. Now, do you plan on playing all of these with your friends? So kind of like a game night Halloween. That sounds really fun. Of course, I will be after you. Get lots of candy, right? Yeah. What is your favorite candy? Nice. Yeah, I pretty much like everything, but especially anything chocolate. Alright. So now, let's see, I do have kind of more of a goofy Halloween type game. So this one is good if you're playing with any kids. That is Luigis Mansion 3. So this game is definitely not too challenging. I do think some of the bosses are kind of challenging though. So again, if you're playing with kids, they might need help, but it really is a fun Mario and Luigi game. And now if you are interested, I do have a steelbook for it. And what's really cool about this steelbook is that it glows in the dark. So there are ghosts on the back that glow, and then the text also glows. So this is a cool thing to display around Halloween time. And of course you have your slot to keep the game in there if you want. So just wanted to mention that in case you're interested. Okay, next, another Resident Evil game. Let me see. I think this might be the last one. Actually, no, there's still one more after that. But this one is for GameCube, so I just wanted to include at least one GameCube game. So here's the front. The back says, turn out the lights, lock the doors, live the nightmare. Raccoon City, a secluded mountain community, plagued by a storm of vicious attacks, is completely overrun. Mutant beasts, bloodthirsty zombies infest the landscape. Your mission is to investigate the ominous mansion at the core of the horrific disaster. Uncover secrets behind a radical genetic research facility with unspeakable horrors lurking around every corner. So this is the first one. And you can play on GameCube, like I said. So you might want to actually play this one first if you want to kind of go in order. We have 2 discs and then a lot of manuals here. Let me just take a look. So this is just kind of like a Nintendo power ad, precautions booklet, and then a nice creepy manual. So again, this is going to give you an overview and give you some tips, information on the characters, on the story. So I would definitely look through this before playing. And I'll clean this one too, just since it's another older case. Okay, looks good. Okay, then 2 Wii games. Again, was trying to diversify the consoles. So this is House of the Dead 2 and 3 Return. Again, you can see from the cover, it's definitely something you are looking for. Show you the back. And again, this. Yeah, this again has zombies. And the voice acting in this is pretty funny. Check the disc. Perfect. And then a manual. With again all you need to know to start the game. And have you played any Dead Space games? Okay. So this is a Wii game, Dead Space game. It's called Dead Space Extraction. It's definitely a creepy game. The Dead Space games in general are pretty creepy. Will make you jump for sure. It says, prepare yourself for the most cinematic horror experience on Wii. Now, I can't say much about this because I didn't play through the whole thing. But I just want to include it since we just got it traded in. Check the disc. Perfect. I'm gonna clean this one as well. And we will test all of these games too. So whichever ones you choose to purchase, we will just test quickly before we check you out. Now, of course, I wanted to include a few newer games. So I just grabbed 3 PS5 games. Do you have a PS5? Okay, good. So let's start with this, going back to Dead Space. So this is a remaster of the original. Definitely recommend playing it. I actually played the original on Xbox 360 when it came out, but I would recommend this one for sure since you'll have the upgraded graphics. And again, you are guaranteed to jump several times and be afraid. So I think you will for sure like it. Your main character is Isaac Clarke, and it not only has good gameplay, but personally I think the story is really, really good. So highly recommend. This is used, but it's in a great condition. So definitely play this one if you think it sounds interesting. Then The Last of Us, which is a very popular game. This one is for PS5, so it's remastered. And this is part 1. There are 2 parts. But I would definitely recommend it. It's a really good storyline. It definitely has the atmosphere I think you're looking for. And then your main characters are Joel and Ellie. I'm not going to give too much away. I'm trying not to give away too much for any of these games, so you can kind of find out on your own. Just make sure the disc is in here. I do hear whatever. Okay, so you do have this option as well, depending on what you think looks best. And now that I'm thinking about it, I did forget to mention, just make sure you check the ratings on all of the games and make sure you see what's included, just in case, again, you're playing with kids. I promised there would be one more Resident Evil game. This is Resident Evil 4. This is a remaster from the original. This is actually one of my favorite Resident Evil games, so I definitely recommend it. And again, survival horror, so I think you will enjoy it. I do wish there were manuals for all of these, but PS5 games, I do not have them. Kind of makes me sad because I miss having them. But I guess it saves them money, and you really can look everything up on the internet. So, there you go. That's the last one. So, what are you thinking with all of these? You think all of them? Kind of thought you were gonna say that. So I'm going to have my colleague test all of them in the back for you and clean the discs in the cleaner, and then we can discuss a price. Okay? Perfect. Well, thank you for coming in. I will go work on testing these with my colleague.